Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone is doing well whenever you tune in and see this. And happy birthday, of course, ahead of 2 days ahead of time to all the Aries out there. If you are a sun sign Aries, happy birthday, right? We're about to get into your season in just 2 days. So this is going to be a general reading for fire sign Aries, the ram, but it is for all Aries energy. Okay, so even if you are not a sun rising or have your moon in Aries, or even if you don't have your Venus in Aries, as an example, you do have Aries somewhere in your chart, so there may still be a message for you here. That's why all are welcome. All right, so since it is a general reading, it can cover anything like love, work, friends, family, health, etc., and money and abundance, of course. So yeah, we're going to get into your reading in just a minute. We've got all your cards out here for you, Aries. And I also wanted to say that this reading is also a timeless reading. So that means that for some people, it may resonate 6 months in the past or 6 months in the future, as an example, or a year in the past, a year in the future, etc. So sometimes it does take time to manifest if it hasn't already. All right, so always keep that in mind as well. And if you don't already have, you know, found out what your other placements are, have gotten your own birth chart, I always encourage everyone to do that, right? So you can do that online for free just by Googling it, even if you don't have your exact birth time, as long as you have your birthday, of course, and then where you were born, you can still get a pretty good one with some of the breakdowns of what your other placements are. So for an example, depending on what's going on in your life, you may resonate more with your moon sign, your sun sign, your rising sign, okay? And then always watch whatever your Venus is in for matters of love and big forms of money and assets. Okay, bigger forms of money and assets. All right. So yes, with all that being said, let's get into your reading here, Aries. So let's do a quick little sound bell just for some grounding and healing for the reading. So just be aware it does get a little bit loud, in case that's something that you're sensitive to, or in case you're listening with headphones or whatever. So if you want to, you can take a deep breath in and out whenever, or you can just listen to. All right. All right. That one was a powerful one, I feel like. Sometimes I do them better than others. But yeah, I guess we can put it over here on the table. For some reason, I have the cards lower than I usually do. So we've got space over here. So yay. All right. So I also wanted to say that if you're new, welcome, right? And even if you're not new and you're coming back, welcome back. All are appreciated, all your energies and views and everything. So I do take one photo at the end of all the cards here that I will be posting online after the live, in case you want to see it up close or in more detail. So all you have to do is click in the description box below and follow the instructions there in case you want to see the photo of all of the cards. So yes, let's talk about the placement of everything for just a second. So we're going to start in the center with your first main 9 cards, okay? And I am working with 2 different decks, so then we'll also talk about what's on the top and the bottom of each deck, and also we have our tarot confirmation cards as well. And sorry, just setting my timer as a general kind of timer thing. And then at the very end, we do have some oracle cards for you. All right. So right off the bat, I did want to say here, Aries, that like 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 of the cards that were in your reading that I did yesterday, I don't even know anymore. Your last reading, if it was yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. But it's interesting because I do a lot of shuffling and cutting up the deck, and so it came out more in the past placements. So not all of them, but some of them did, and then some of them are more in the middle section here. So we will definitely get into that. But before we get into it, I did count, I believe you have 5 or 6 major arcanas. I'll count them again. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so yes, 6 major arcanas. I think you had 7 last time. So it's not a good or bad thing necessarily, right? The more major arcanas that you have in your reading talk about more significant changes coming up or that have already started or happened in the past. Okay, so when we're talking about the major arcanas, I will mention right now real quickly the other zodiac signs that I see here showing up in your reading in case that's of interest to you. Okay, you could be dealing with one of these other signs or have some of these signs predominantly in your chart or the other person's chart or multiple people's chart if you're dealing with multiple people, right, what have you. Or it could just be about the general astrology or collective unconscious, or it doesn't mean anything to you at all. But let's go ahead and talk about the zodiac signs I see. So we have some Virgo energy. We have 2 cards for Aquarius. We have Pisces, we have Libra, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which actually stands for 4 zodiac signs. So it's Pisces again, Aquarius again, Taurus, and Leo. And I think that's everybody. Okay, so I'll try to mention it again when we're on those particular cards. But like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to mean anything to you, but I want to mention it before we get into the reading in case I forget to mention it. All right, blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and get into it here. So I'm going to go ahead and call the cards out in order, and then we'll go from there. So we have the 10 of Sacred Circles in the right side up position, and this is also known as 10 of Pentacles in other decks. We have the Wheel of Fortune right side up that I mentioned before. We have the Empress right side up. We have the Queen of Staves, also known as Queen of Wands, right side up. We have the Prince of Staves or Prince of Wands right side up. We have the Star right side up. We have 3 of Staves or 3 of Wands in reverse. We have 4 of Cups right side up. And then we have 10 of Staves, 10 of Wands right side up. So I think I forgot to count how many of the majors we have. But just from looking at it right now, after calling those out, I would say you definitely have a lot of wands in this reading. But let's go ahead and see. We have 1. Wow. Okay, yeah, we only have 1 sword for the minor arcana. How many cups do we have? 3 cups. Okay. How many pentacles do we have? 1, 2. So 2 pentacles is definitely not the pentacles or the cups. And definitely not the sword. So it is the wands. So how many wands do we have? Just out of curiosity, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that it? I think so. I think I missed one. Hold on a second. For pentacles, we have 1, 2, 3. It's still not it. So yeah, it's wands. Okay. So anyway, it doesn't matter exactly the number, right? But basically, one of the things is that whatever the majority of the major arcanas are, that can be like an underlying theme to the reading as well. So when we talk about wands, just like the swords in some cases, it can be the sword or the wand can be a tool or a weapon, right? It has that duality, dual purpose. But with the wands specifically, it talks about our defenses. So are our defenses too high? We're blocking something. Our defenses too low and we're being vulnerable. It can talk about defenses as far as our immune system, our body defenses. It can be a lot of different things for different people, right? Since it is a general reading, but I did want to mention it. Okay, now going back to a little bit of the placement here. And I forgot to bring up my calendar since this is the first reading of this series. But I'm going to say that this first row going across here is energy starting around March 19th. Okay, and going through, I guess it would be March 31st. Okay, so the last 2 weeks of March. All right, and then the second row here going across would be energy from April 1st to about April 9th or so. Again, not exact, they're just kind of examples of when the energy may show up for you, but it was different again for everybody. And then the last row would be energy from, is that right? Okay, March 9th through, April, the last row would be April 9th through April 19th. So that is 7, 8, 9, 10 days, okay, for this last row. So yeah, it's something like that because that's kind of how I've been doing it lately. But again, it's not a huge importance, okay, because time is fluid and relative. And like I've said before, you could come to this reading, let's say even next year in 2023, and maybe find something of importance or a message here for you. So we just kind of take it as like a rough estimate. All right, anyway. Let's start off with your first card here, dear Aries. We have the wonderful 10 of Sacred Circles, also known as the 10 of Pentacles, okay? So this is a completion number. It's all about endings and new beginnings. And what do we have here in the background is the full moon, okay? What do we have today? Starting last night, depending on when you're watching, we have the full moon in Virgo, okay? And this is literally your first card in the first row. So it could be the full moon here is kind of representing another element here for some of you guys, maybe not for everybody, okay, about something happening or starting around the full moon, right? It could even be last month's full moon or 6 months ago's full moon, a year ago's full moon, or it could be in the future, right? We don't really know yet, but it does speak of a culmination, just like the 10 being the highest number in tarot. We go from 0 or 1 to 10. The full moon is the biggest that it can get, right? So it's like a fulfillment kind of culmination energy. And here we see all these little Native American huts, like some kind of community, and it is winter time, right? So in this deck, the sacred circles represent the pentacles and other decks, right? So it's all about abundance and money and wealth, but not just money and wealth. Abundance can be whatever it is you want to manifest in your world, right? It could be better health, it could be love, it could be creative projects, stuff at work, it could be all those things, whatever it is, you know, for you, okay? But this is a really nice place to start off here in your reading, Aries, especially since this reading is covering your season, right? So that's some really nice energy. Now, when we talk about the first row in particular, and then more in the tarot confirmation cards that we'll get into later, this is energy from the recent past that's still kind of like trickling into your reading. So like I said, this could have started in the past in some way, but if you go through this reading, Aries, a little bit later and you say, you know what, that didn't really resonate with me, maybe it's not your reading, right? It's no big deal. So that's why I always encourage everyone to check out the other videos here on my channel if you know your other placements. All right, but now going forward, we go from the 10 of Sacred Circles right side up to now the Wheel of Fortune in the right side up position. really nice, beautiful energy. Okay, this is talking about luck is on your side. It's the right time for something. Okay, this is a timing card, right? The wheel of the year, the seasons change, right? Everything ebbs and flows. And here we have some of the zodiac signs showing up in the constellations here. So again, this is energy of Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and what did I say? Pisces? Yes, Pisces. Okay, I had like a moment there. All right, so again, maybe those signs mean something to you, but doesn't necessarily have to be. Okay, so generally, I would say these first two cards are really abundant energy, right? Progress for momentum. Moving forward here. So that's really beautiful. And so when the Wheel of Fortune also follows this 10 of Sacred Circles, it could be saying that it is, now time here for you, Aries, to embrace this ending and this new beginning and this culmination of energy. Okay, so when we talk about culmination, I forgot to mention a little bit before, right? It's a leveling up in some way. It's the next step or stage of something. So you could be leveling up at work. You could be leveling up in a relationship, romantic relationship, platonic relationship with friends or family. It could be a relationship if you're working on self-love with yourself, whatever it is. But it's like the next stage of something, okay? So this is really beautiful again. Now, moving forward, when we were talking about actually just a minute ago that it could be work for some of you guys or a creative project here, your third card is the Empress in the right side up position. All right, so she is the businesswoman of the tarot, the CEO of the tarot, right? She is all about feminine energy and creativity. Not saying that masculines aren't creative, it's just this. That's how this shows up in this card, even with the woman femininity symbol at the bottom here, okay? But she is, pregnant, right? So she's planting seeds for the future. She's supported, okay? Even though she is the empress and the CEO or top of her chain, right? As you say, right? She has to still work really hard and delegate tasks to others. She's also responsible for others in whatever this leadership role or position high above others, right? But she is resting really comfortably on this chair behind her. So she has a lot of support behind her as well from her friends, family, mental health care worker, etc., right? Or just support from the other people that she works with. If it is a work situation, right? But it doesn't have to be. And then with the waterfall in the background there too, she's learned to master her emotions in a positive way and channel it into something, okay? So this is really, again, beautiful energy, abundant, full, why did I stutter or say that twice? Forward momentum, full forward momentum. Okay, progress. Yes, all those things. I guess I was supposed to say that twice or something, but that was funny. All right. Let's keep going forward. Okay, so we have as your next card, and now we're in the second row. So this would be energy around April 1st through April 9th or so. Let me just turn this down a little bit. And we show up with the Queen of Staves in the right side up position. I believe you had this somewhere in your last reading too, but I'm not all the way sure. I know you did have some wands in the last reading too. I'll have to go back and look. But basically, when this Queen of Staves shows up, okay, this is again another leadership possibility for some, okay, a position of authority over others since she is a queen. But again, she has utilized her emotions in a positive way with the Nile River behind this Egyptian woman. And she has this kind of not silent confidence, because that's more of the King of Staves, but she has this reassurance to take a break because her eyes are closed. So it makes me always think of like animals, right? So we're talking about predator and prey. So if, let's say, you are, there's a predator around you and you are a prey, right? You wouldn't close your eyes and just kind of relax. You would be more on high alert. So what I'm saying is this Queen of Staves energy is she can take a moment to relax or breathe or meditate about something because she just like the Empress is fully supported here. She has a team that she can delegate tasks to. She has helpers and maids and unfortunately slaves and all that stuff if we're talking about Egypt, right? But these people are there to help her do things, okay? So it's not like she's doing it all by herself, but she's worked really hard to get to that position, okay? And it is, again, for momentum, progress, abundance in all forms, right? Not just money, but whatever you want to manifest in your life. Now, going forward here, Aries, your fifth card is the Prince of Staves in the right side up position. So it could be a little bit for some a backpedaling of energy, but I see it more as perhaps somebody might be humbled a little bit in some way. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be you, Aries. It could be about the person that you're dealing with, if it's one person or multiple people you're dealing with, general environment situation. But we go from the queen to then the prince when it kind of should be right naturally the other way around. But if we're talking about the Queen of Staves or Queen of Wands and other decks. If she got too comfortable in her position, or she wasn't being humble enough, okay, in some way, when the prince shows up here, he's open to learning new things. When we talk about the queen or the empress or the king, right, they may be more like, I've learned everything that I need to learn. I'm at the top of my game, the top as farthest that I can go, etc. Right? But actually, to stay at that position, we always need to remain humble and try to, again, always be open to learning new things, regardless of our status, our career, our age, etc. Okay, and also when we talk about, I forgot to mention this sometimes in the readings, but like when we think of the prince or the princess or the knight or the prince, right? It's a youthful energy. So it's like, don't get to the point here where maybe you've lost some of that like youthful energy or spark that keeps you curious about the world and humble and open to learning new things. Okay, so that could also be a little bit of a message here. But still really nice progress here and forward momentum. I would say that it is really indicative of like something, again, going back a little bit to your second card, something being now the time for you here, Aries. Um, or luck is more on your side or in a more favorable, complimentary, compassionate, empathetic way about possibly leveling up in some way or having this ending and then this new beginning at the same time. Now, I know, let's see, I want to pull up real quickly the astrology notes I did the other day. I don't think there's something with Aquarius coming up, but I wanted to double check. No, okay. Nothing really with Libra. A couple things with Pisces, Jupiter, Aries, of course, Aries season, this Aries video, Taurus. Actually, we do have, we go back to the Empress here for a moment. There's a full moon in Libra on April 16th, but this was more in that first row, which was the last 2 weeks of March. So maybe it doesn't necessarily coincide with the astrology at this time, but I just wanted to like briefly look over it. Okay, so anyway, if you're interested, you can always check out the separate video that I posted here on my channel for the astrology notes for this time period. But anyway, we're going back just to talk about, right, we left from the Prince of Staves, right side up, your fifth card, to your sixth card, which is now the star in the right side up position. And I think you got this card somewhere in your last reading as well. I'm pretty sure, but not exact, okay? But this is beautiful, right? So this is this energy of having hope and inspiration and being inspired for the future, right? You see this Native American woman here, and she's looking up at the star, and she's like looking for answers, looking for a path from the natural world to show her the way, right? When we think of people in ancient times or older cultures further back, right, they use kind of the sky to, of course, plant, when to know to plant, and the seasons changing and all those things. But then they also, over time, started associating, certain things showing up in people's personalities or how the planets or stars affect them, in kind of like a general way. So this could also represent something to do with astrology, right? Since actually Aquarius rules astrology in general. Okay, so I don't know normally say that. I remember to say that, but I was just feeling it there. So anyway, she has kind of like a similar body posture as the Temperance card, if you're familiar with the tarot. So she's got one foot on land and one foot in the water. So she's really striving also for some type of balance between, let's say, the 3D and the 5D, the physical world with responsibilities and bills, and then the unconscious, spiritual, creative world, let's say. But she is also learning to master her emotions here too, to help her move forward. We have the ocean all the way in the background here, and then she's actually standing in some type of like pond or lake here, and she's moving the water back and forth with these shells. Okay, so it's like a back and forth, a shifting of time, and I feel like that came up, twice here in your reading too, with the Wheel of Fortune and the passing of time, and talking about astrology again. Literally see the constellations and some of the other zodiac signs here. So it could have something to do with maybe, in this first week or so of April here, Aries, you could be feeling like, I'm trying to think of the way to say it. It's more like a appreciation for time, or feeling again something about time being more favorable to you or more lucky, of course, yes, with the Wheel of Fortune, but also more agreeable, more complimentary, more compassionate, empathetic, something like that. Okay. But it's really beautiful, right? So it's like actually all first of your 6 cards here in the center are very abundant, very beautiful. And so I always like to see that, especially when I'm doing a sign and it's their season, right? It's like I always kind of hate to be like, this isn't the best reading, right? But everything is always for a reason. You do have some energetic blockages coming up that we'll talk about, but again, it's not the end of the world. But I would say the first 2 rows, the first 6 cards are just really beautiful here. All right. So moving forward though, let's go ahead and talk about this last row here going across. And I think I said that was from about April 9th or so to about April 19th. Okay. Again, it's not exact. So this is actually, I know this card was in your last reading here, Aries, but it was the other way around. It was one of your repeating cards, okay? But anyway, your 7th card here is the 3 of Staves, also known as the 3 of Wands, but it is in the reverse position, okay? So, I'm sorry, Cleo. Shh. No, Cleo. Let me turn some music up. Sorry, I'm gonna do it. Okay. Yes. So we're at the 3 of Wands or 3 of Staves in the reverse position, which I know was in your last reading. Okay. But when it shows up in the reverse position, it can be a little bit of an energetic blockage or some stagnant energy, but not the end of the world. Okay. So what it's basically saying here is that somebody still needs to deal with their emotions around something that was possibly, having them be more outgoing in the past, but here, and it's outgoing in some social way, whether it's socially online or socially in person or both or whatever it is, right? But here in the reverse position, it's like somebody has to again, figure out what their emotions mean to themselves or to the other person or vice versa, or all the people, if it's multiple people, right? Both people, whatever. It could also be about a celebration kind of being put on hold, because if it was right side up, right, this beautiful Egyptian couple is going to a party. They're bringing a gift, right, to the people throwing the party. They've just gotten off of this beautiful boat off the Nile River, but it's in reverse. So it could be that a celebration or party is put on hold, or it's just somebody is still trying to figure out their emotions around maybe coming out in a social way, socially with one person, socially with multiple people. Again, it could be either online or in person or both or what have you. But there's just like a little bit of a blockage there. So this is actually where my spirit guides told me to talk to you about what's on the top and the bottom of your deck in relation to this card. Okay, the Three of Staves or Three of Wands in reverse. So what do we have? On the top, this card was also in your last reading. So crazy. So this is the Eight of Cups in the right side up position, and then we have the Three of Sacred Circles in the reverse position. Now, these two cards are energy from the past, right? And it was literally these two, not that one, but these two were in your last reading in different placements and different, things or whatever. But this is when we talk about energy from the way back past. Okay, for some people, it could be a couple of days ago, it could be a couple of weeks, hours, months, years, etc., what have you. Okay, so in the past, in some way here, Aries, whether it's you, yourself, the other person, multiple people, somebody was like, I need to take a break emotionally to figure out some things. Okay, so if they're going to take a break in the past, and it's not necessarily the Eight of Cups is not a good or a bad card, right? In this position, it's kind of neutral. That's the way I like to see it, because the cups represent, just like water in the tarot, our emotions. So they're going to take a break. They took a break in the past in some way. So if they're taking a break, of course, they can't be social, right? They can't be social online or in person or social with one person or multiple people, right? If they're taking a break from all the emotions, and they're purposely stopping everything and saying, whoa, I need to slow down, I need to figure this out, then that completely makes sense why this card would be in the reverse position. Now, also what's interesting, this card was not in your last reading, but is the Three of Sacred Circles in the reverse position. Sorry, guys, I got really hot all of a sudden. Okay. It got really warm here today. Anyway, I feel like my face is really hot, but it could be the lighting. Anyway, sorry, guys. When this Three of Sacred Circles shows up here, it's really like an energetic blockage from the past, whatever that means for you, right? Where somebody was having a hard time juggling their priorities in some way. Okay, so normally the Three of Sacred Circles or Three of Pentacles is like, if it's right side up, it's like learning to stack your abundance. It's not 10 of Pentacles, which you started off your reading here with, or 10 of Sacred Circles. It's the Three of Sacred Circles, but it's in the reverse position. So in the past, somebody here, Aries, was really having a hard time being able to see something from a higher perspective, okay, with the eagle right at the top of the card here, in the clouds and also in the drums here, but also the bear, right? So the bear represents a hibernation, being able to withstand the winter or a difficult storm. So when it was in the reverse position, somebody not only wanted to or needed to take a break emotionally to figure some things out, they also were like not dealing with their priorities or struggling with their priorities in a certain regard, right? To being able to see things from a higher perspective, like the eagle, and also the bear being able to when we talk about hibernation or being able to withstand the winter storm or a long storm, right? Usually in the tarot, we're not just talking about the physical world, we're also, of course, talking about the spiritual world. So being able to not only save food for the winter, but save your resources, your energy, your emotions, like something here, okay? All those things here, okay? So that's just a little bit more insight about why this card maybe showed up in this position. All right, so let's keep going forward though. All right, I'll put those underneath so I know that I talked about them. Now, this next card was also in last reading was from another deck, and I think it was over here, but now it's down here in that third row again. Could be around April 9th through April 19th, okay? But anyway, what we have here is your 8th card, the 4 of Cups in the right side up position. Okay, so this is an energy of not being completely satisfied with what's being currently offered in regards to, again, the emotions. Okay, so excuse me, we see this guy here, and he's his posture is kind of like blah, and he's looking at these 3 cups, and he's like, whatever, this doesn't fulfill me, this doesn't challenge me, this doesn't excite me, it's just kind of like whatever, right? This disappoints me, what have you, add, like fill in your own blank about the emotions here. But what he doesn't realize is if he remains patient or just looks up, you have that cup, that big cup here, the 4th cup, that's going to come in from the divine, right? And it's going to give you better opportunities, better circumstances, something more challenging and exciting here for you, Aries. So it could be that in that middle of April or so, right? Just kind of remain patient and know that things are going to pick up again, right? Because maybe you started off your season really high with those first 6 cards. They were amazing. And then here it's like something maybe triggered you that kind of reminded you of some stuff going on in the past. And then you're like, I don't know, right? But I would just say it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst card that could show up or the worst position, of course. And we all have energetic blockages, you know, in every reading and throughout our lives in some ways. So it's not the worst thing, okay? All right, so moving forward, we get to your last card in the main center here, right? Your 9th card, and it's so interesting too here, Aries. You started off with a number 10, the 10 of sacred circles, and then you end in the center here with 10 of staves right side up. So another 10. So again, completion number, a culmination number, right? So endings, beginnings here. And with this 10 of wands or 10 of staves, known as 10 of staves in this deck, right? It is about being able to put down something that you were carrying for perhaps a long time in regards to your defense, right? When we talk about wands earlier, we talked about are my defenses too high, where I'm blocking my abundance, or I'm blocking love, or what have you? Are my defenses too low, and then I'm too vulnerable, and I'm being taken advantage of, etc., right? What have you, whatever you may find yourself in. But here, when we see this beautiful African woman, right, she's going to put all those 10 wands down, okay? She's going to take a break. She's also got a kid in front of her and one on the back, okay? So she's going to use those wands either to make a fire, to make them something to eat, or she's going to build a house. But she's about to rest in some way. So that could also be the ending right before a new beginning, but also putting defenses down that maybe were really high before. Okay, so I really feel like Spirit is telling me is keep saying that, like repeat it. I hear it in my head like really loud, like put not all of your defenses, wait a minute, don't put all of them down because you need to protect yourself, right? But don't, again, block your abundance, block your money, your wealth, your love, your better health, whatever it is you want to manifest in your life. Don't be too defensive. Put some of that down, but also know when to celebrate your wins, right? Know when to feel out the endings and the new beginnings, and know that it's going to be okay, because also we have the water in the background here, and she's kind of looking back at her kid, but she could also be looking back at the ocean in some way and being like, yeah, I know that I have emotions, but I use my emotions, my heart chakra, along with my logical mind, my crown chakra, and I use it to channel it into something worthwhile in my world, right? So she's not like bogged down or confused by those things. She's using it to her advantage, let's say. All right, so really beautiful here. But now let's get into your tarot confirmation cards real quickly. because we have more major arcana showing up over here and just some interesting stuff. So I'll call them out in order and then we'll go from there. But we have the Six of Swords in the right side up position here, which might have been in your reading or the Taurus reading, I can't remember. Anyway, we also have the Moon in the right side up position here. We have the Six of Pentacles in reverse, and then we have the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. Now, what's to note too is that these first two confirmation cards are energy from the recent past, whatever the recent past means for you. The last two are more future, current, present energies, probabilities, that kind of thing, okay? But the reason why you see two other ones over here is because these are actually the past, right, where my spirit guides wanted me to talk to you about what's on the top and the bottom of this deck, along with this card. So we'll get into that in just a second here. But here we have the Six of Swords in the right side up position from the recent past, okay? So there was some progress happening in the past in certain regards to maybe, it could be a lot of different things, right? But what is really important to note here is the person in front of the boat has their back turned to the other one. So there could have been in the recent past some kind of feeling of betrayal, or not necessarily betrayal, but it could just be a trust issue or one trust issue or multiple trust issues, right? About this progress, maybe because it was slow moving or something, but it was slow because there was a lot of trust issues or betrayal issues that cause a lot of mental confusion, anxiety, worry, overthinking here. With the swords going downwards in the tarot, right, the swords represent our intellect, our logical mind. So when we're too much up in our head, it's to our detriment, right? And then we actually block our progress or our forward momentum here, okay? So again, this doesn't necessarily have to be you here, Aries. It could be the person you're dealing with or multiple people, general environment situation, okay? But the reason why maybe this was happening in the recent past, let's find out. Here we have in the way back past, whatever that means for you, we have the Hermit in the reverse position on the top of the deck here with this card, and then we have one of your repeating cards here, the Star in the right side up position. Okay, so here we have Virgo energy on this side and Aquarius energy again on this side. Okay, so why is the Hermit in the reverse position in the past? Okay, somebody here, or an energy or entity or whatever you want to call it, right, did not want to go within, did not want to trust their intuition in some way. Normally when the Hermit is in the right side up position, it always reminds me of the High Priestess, okay? So it's all about finding your inner light. So here you see this woman kind of crouching over this lantern. She's all by herself and she's wrapped up in these blankets or whatever, right? She's also kind of, like not cowering, not afraid, but almost like she's like, please leave me alone. I'm trying to get this light just for me. I'm trying to get these answers just for me. So that's like when I talk about the Hermit in the right side up position reminds me of the High Priestess, about intuition and finding your own light. So it's interesting because right now, today, we're in the Virgo full moon, okay? This is the card of Virgo in the tarot, but also the opposite sign of Virgo is Pisces, and you did have 2 or 3 other cards here with Pisces energy. So that's also really interesting. But remember, it was in the reverse position. So if whatever this was in the past here, Aries, I see it more as a catalyst, because either you yourself, another person, multiple people, general environment situation, because they were closed off, they didn't want to go within, they didn't want to pull away from the crowd too. The other thing about the Hermit, and why it's literally called the Hermit, is they go to the edge of the cliff in the forest where it's quiet, where they can hear themselves saying, no, do this, do that. Like, these are the answers. This is what really would help you. This is what's the best for you, right? If you're at a party or you're with a lot of people, you can't hear, you can still hear it a little bit, right? But it's not as clear, okay? So it's again, it's kind of like that theme that was coming up earlier a little bit with that three of staves in the reverse position. Somebody not being able to be social, right? Because they needed to take a break and figure out their emotions. But in the past, somebody really didn't want to do that, okay, with the hermit in the reverse position. But it was a catalyst because then it led to the star, okay? The star, the Aquarius energy. So somebody here was like, wait, I've been not inspired. I've been not excited or hopeful for the future. I haven't been feeling particularly creative, right? Or passionate about something. And so, of course, if I'm feeling like that, maybe I don't want to go within and listen to those answers coming from my intuition, my gut, my spirit guides, guardian angels, ancestors, what have you, right? So it's like, even though it was kind of not the greatest in the past with this hermit in the reverse position, someone then was like, I'm going to try to use it to my advantage and learn the lesson and kind of reinvent myself or reinvigorate myself more about how I can become creative and passionate and inspired for the future. Okay. So this is like complete explanation as far as this is, they're in the boat, they're moving just like a horse. It's transportation, so there's progress here, but it's slow progress, right? So just like these two cards, it's like one is in the stagnant energy or energetic blockage position, and then the other one is positive. Okay, so it's like a little bit of the slow progress. Okay, but let's keep going because we still have a couple things to talk about here. All right, just make sure that got some music here for the dogs. So you don't act completely crazy, but they recently had their dinner, and so they seem a little more sleepy right now. Hopefully, don't want to jinx it. Okay, so your next and second tarot confirmation card is the moon in the right side of position, and this is also energy from the recent past, and this is literally the card, official tarot card for Pisces energy. Okay. So it could mean something to you, but doesn't necessarily have to, right? But when this moon shows up in the recent past, it could be that you didn't have all the information here about something. There was a little bit of this dreamlike quality, this haze, this Vaseline over the lens kind of thing. Like, wait, I can see some shapes, but they're not all the way clear. Normally, when I talk about the moon card, I always like to use the example of the coat rack, right? So you're looking at the coat rack at night with all the lights off, and let's say it's not your house. So then you're like, is that a person? Is that a monster? Is that a demon? What the fuck is that kind of thing, right? But then if you turn the light on, you're like, oh, it's just the coat on the coat rack, okay? So when the moon shows up here in the recent past position, it's like somebody didn't have all the information. They were really trying to find enlightenment and wisdom, but maybe it was harder, or just they didn't have all the information. The other thing about the moon card too is, of course, we have this beautiful woman here with the crescent moon behind her, and she's like standing in the water or above it, right? And so the water in the tarot represents the emotions. So here in the recent past, if somebody's emotions were clouding their judgment, if their emotions or their heart chakra was just making decisions and not making decision with both their head, their crown chakra, and their heart chakra, then of course maybe things weren't all the way clear in some way. Okay, but let's go back for a second, because I guess I realized I was talking about the confirmation cards and then I didn't show which cards that it confirms, because normally, not all the time, but it's very kind of rare for spirit guides to tell me like what's on the top and the bottom of each deck with a confirmation card. Usually it tends to be more in the center. So I think that threw me off a bit, but everything is divine timing, as we say. So let's go back for a second to that Six of Swords in the right side up position. We know already, we explained already what it means, right? We even went further back into the past. But this Six of Swords is coming in here and is confirming the 10 of Sacred Circles, the Queen of Staves in the right side up position, and also the Three of Staves in the reverse position. Okay, so here I would say, right, that for these two cards, it was acting as a catalyst, this Six of Swords. And up here, not so much, right, but it could just be a reminder or a mirror reflection of what's going on. But we'll do it one by one here. So, okay, going back to the Six of Swords in the right side up position, confirming the Ten of Sacred Circles in the right side up position. So, what led to this ending and this new beginning, this culmination of energy, the full moon energy, right? This leveling up in some way or next stage or step of something could be because in the past, there was really slow progress, right? There was mental confusion, anxiety, worry. Maybe people weren't communicating right to each other. This guy's like, why didn't you go steer the boat this way? This guy's like, let's go that way. So trust issues. So here we see the community. We see all of the Native American huts together. Okay, so it's about working together here. That is definitely something that I feel. Now, when the Queen of Staves shows up, okay, and the Six of Swords is confirming it, it's kind of the same thing, right? We're just confirming the stuff we already talked about, where she has a team of people, of maids that help her, advisors, right? All this stuff. Even though she's in a position of authority or leadership role over others, she still has to communicate to her team. She has to delegate tasks to people. She can't do it all by herself, okay? So there's water in both these cards. She's here using the emotions in a positive way to channel it and make solutions, move forward here. It's harder, right? So I would say that when this Six of Swords is confirming the Queen of Staves right side up here, Aries, it could just be if you find that you need to take a moment with your emotions or someone else's emotions or multiple people's emotions. You can do that, right? Remember when I was saying if she was, let's say, the prey and there was a predator around, she wouldn't be able to close her eyes. She would be on high alert, like, shit, I'm about to get eaten or whatever, right? So it's like you're not in a threatened position. You're not hopefully about to be eaten, right? So take a moment, take a breather, meditate, work through the emotions. Don't let it cloud your judgment. Rely on your support system and your team. Okay. And if this is when we're talking about the 10 of sacred circles and leveling up in some way, and then having a queen here leveling up the highest position in some way, if that put a lot of responsibility on you here, Aries, or the other person or multiple people, I would say, try to, again, communicate your emotions with others about how to navigate the waters, like so they say, right? So you can step into your power. So you can be like, wait, I got this position for a reason. Wait, I got this next level of a relationship for a reason, whether it's friends, family, romantic, etc. Or wait, I got this opportunity to work on my health and do all these things for myself because I know that I need to do it. So it's like a owning up and leveling up, but also being open to have others help you through whatever this transition is, or this new beginning and this ending too. Okay. All right. Now, when the Six of Swords comes in here and confirms the Three of Staves in the reverse position, I think we talked about this a little bit before, but it's like someone can't be social right now in some way because they need to deal with their emotions. They can't maybe go to the party. Yes, right on the bell there. They can't. Step out and have some type of celebration about something just yet because they need to deal with some trust issues or some betrayal issues, or they just straight up need to deal with some anxiety, worry, overthinking around possibly stepping out socially in some way, or having a celebration in some way. All right, now going back to the moon. We already talked about what the moon represents, right? That Pisces energy. So she is also a confirmation card. She's going to come in and confirm these cards going vertically. So she's confirming the Wheel of Fortune, the Prince of Staves right side up, and also the Four of Cups right side up. So here the moon acted as a catalyst for the Wheel of Fortune and the Prince of Staves. And here, not so much a catalyst, but maybe a mirror image. But we'll go kind of one by one. All right. So when the moon is confirming the Wheel of Fortune, it's like, yes, if we talk about in the recent past, there were some illusions or clouded judgment or not seeing something clearly, not seeing the coat is on the coat rack at night, right? Trying to navigate through some emotions and get more information or light or knowledge around something. It could just be a matter of timing was off before in the recent past. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the luckiest, favorablest, complimentariest time in the recent past. But here it's saying that in the future, it will be, okay? Now, when the moon comes in here and is confirming the Prince of Staves right side up, I feel that it is saying, if someone's telling you to act more mature or to act like a king, right? And they're like, oh, you're just a prince, but you really should be acting like a king, or oh, you're just a little kid, or oh, you're just this, that, right? You need to act bigger. Here, I would say that, what is that saying? That the role between teacher and student often changes, right? Like if the teacher's like, I can't learn anything from this kid, they're going to be like, for a rude awakening, right? Because we can all learn something new, regardless of our status or our age, because that's how we remain humble. That's how we keep our abundance moving forward, our money, but not just our money. Abundance is, right, whatever you want to manifest in your life. So here it could just be you explaining that to someone, Aries, or someone explaining or reminding you or multiple people, general environment situation, what have you. Okay. But yeah, like I said, the first two rows is just like amazing energy. And even your last card, your ninth card, right? You really only had two little like blah, blah, blah blockages there or reminders or stagnant energy. But then your last card was like really positive too. But anyway, let's keep going. So this moon card comes in here and is confirming the Four of Cups, right? So I feel that it is basically saying, again, be patient, just like with the Wheel of Fortune, right? If you're emotionally dissatisfied or not liking your current situation, or you're not feeling challenged or excited, right? Give it a little bit more time so you can get all the information emotionally. Maybe there was something hidden here in the recent past with somebody's emotions, with your emotions, their emotions, what have you, right? So if you just give it a little time, but also have a perspective change, right? Perspective is everything. So if he just looks up, right, or changes his direction, his viewpoint, his way of thinking, his lifestyle, what have you, and just remains a little patient, then things can get back on track and be like more abundant here, okay? All right, where else were we? Yes, your last two confirmation cards. Let me just get a quick sip of water here. I've been talking a lot today. Hold on. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So the first two confirmation cards, right, were energy from the recent past. The last two are more future current energies, possibilities, probabilities, all those things, right? Because you always have free will, all right? So your third confirmation card is the Six of Pentacles in the reverse position. So what's going on here is this energy of not giving back in some way, a lack of balance. Because if it's six, right, we would say possibly it would be 3 and 3, three on one side, three on the other side, six, right? But here you see this man kind of giving some coins here, some pentacles to these young kids or these poor people. They're not all young, right? Okay, but this is talking about charity, not just giving back money or pentacles or coins, but giving back your time, your energy, your knowledge about something. So when it's in the reverse position, excuse me, it could be saying that somebody here, Aries, or even you yourself, right, maybe is hesitant to doing that because of lots of different reasons, but it's just reminding you that if you do stay humble and give back, you're going to move forward. This is Six of Pentacles, not Ten of Pentacles, right? But if he gives back to others, right, because he knows that it's the right thing to do or that he has a little bit extra, he's not giving away everything, right? Just like you wouldn't give away all your money, you wouldn't give away all of your time, right? Or you wouldn't give away all of your knowledge, let's say, all at once, okay? It's like step by step here, okay? So when this Six of Pentacles in reverse comes in here and is confirming the Empress right side up, the Star right side up, and the Ten of Staves right side up, that little energetic blockage or refusal to give back to others in some way was actually a catalyst here for somebody to get their stuff together, right? Because we have the Empress, the Star, the Ten of Staves, all right? So here it's basically saying the woman that is the Empress, woman is just a metaphor, right? It could be a man, it could be whatever. However you identify, right? It's just what's showing up here in the card and the imagery. But anyway, to be that boss woman, that the CEO of the tarot, right? Of course, she has to give back to others. Okay, she's about to have a baby. Okay, she's pregnant. That's like the ultimate sharing my body with someone, sharing my time and my resources and my food with someone. And then once the baby is born, it's even more. Okay, so it's like planting the seeds for the future, giving back to others a little bit, okay, in some way, actually helps you to be more abundant and manifest whatever it is you want to manifest in your world. All right. And then with the Star here, it's like, yeah, if you're not going to give back to others in some way, you're not going to pay it forward, and it's going to be really hard to be inspired for the future, to be hopeful and creative and master your emotions in a positive way, but also to balance, right? So remember the first thing I said was this is lack of balance, Six in reverse. If Six was right side up, it would be 3 and 3, right? So here we're also talking about balance with the Star, 1 foot on land, 1 foot in the water. So having the correct proportions too. Like I said, not giving away everything, but giving back something. All right, will make you more abundant, make you more creative, and hopeful and inspired and all that stuff for the future. All right. Now, when the Six of Pentacles comes in here and is confirming the Ten of Staves in the right side up position, it's like she also, the thing with the kids here, right? I mean, you don't necessarily have to have kids. It's just a metaphor, right? So it's like, okay, she's giving back to these two children here. All right. So she is, because she did that, because she wasn't, you know, holding back from helping others in some way, giving time or money or resources or knowledge in some way, because she did that, then she can have that ending and that new beginning. She can put some of her defenses down and take a rest, build a fire, build a house, what have you, enjoy some type of celebration or culmination of energy, right? That again, leveling up in some way or stepping up in some way in the next stage of something, because 10 is that ending and new beginning energy. All right. So this is a warning, right? This is just a little reminder here because it's more in the future energies. Also, your fourth confirmation card is the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. Okay. So this is also like a little reminder here, Aries, saying, if you are feeling like you're not supported in some way, particularly emotionally supported in some way, then what do? You reach out to your support system, your friends, family, mental health care worker, etc. Somebody here in your team, right, your support team, wants to help you figure out your emotions and they want to support you emotionally. So it could just even be as easy, let's say, as opening up to somebody that, okay, this other person wasn't here for me, or this other energy wasn't complimentary or here for me, but there's still somebody, some kind of energy there that wants to support you, all right? Wants you to also level up because she's a queen, right? So it could also be a little bit of that hesitancy to maybe not step into your power in a certain way because somebody's nervous or scared about this ending and this new beginning, this next step, okay? But this card is what is this card? Yes, the Queen of Cups reversed is oh my God, I'm losing my mind. Not a complimentary card, it is a confirmation card. All right, sorry. It's like too many C words there. All right. But we didn't say cunt, but I just said it. Anyway, maybe somebody's acting like a cunt. Okay. Maybe. All right. But anyway, okay, tarot, Friday Night Tarot. There we go. This Queen of Cups in reverse is coming in here and confirming, because she's a confirming card, the Empress, right? Right side up, the Star, right side up, and the Ten of Staves. It's confirming the same cards we just did, but maybe a little bit extra or in a different way, or another layer, right? So here, that Queen of Cups in reverse is a catalyst, because here all these cards came out in the positive position, okay? So if there is this energy here, Aries, where you're not feeling emotionally supported in some way, or you're feeling nervous about stepping into your power or the next stage of something, right? It's like, okay, reach out to someone else who's maybe done it before, okay? The Empress is another word for queen, right? So the queen here is reversed and this Empress is sitting right side up. So maybe it's just saying here, Aries, reach out to someone who's also been in a leadership role in some way, or was leveling up in some way to become the top of their class, the top of their job, their health, their money, their love, whatever it is, right? Reach out to maybe somebody else here who can help give you some advice, or just give you that emotional support that maybe you're longing for here, okay? And then when the Queen of Cups in reverse is confirming the Star right side up, it's like, yeah, if you, again, call on a friend, call home, call even a mental health care worker, counselor, what have you, therapist, what have you, right? That they can help you work through the emotions and balance them in the right way, where your heart chakra and your crown chakra are working together, your logical mind, all right, but also your emotions, to find that balance that the Star has, okay? And then get hopeful and excited and creative again here. And so then finally, if we do all those things, we have again a 10 card, a completion card. So she's going to set down her boundaries. Not her boundaries, that didn't come out right. She's going to make clear her boundaries, but she's not going to have her defenses so high, her defense system so high, right? Maybe, especially when we're talking about health, maybe this is what it's saying if you're watching for health reasons, right, Aries, that she is going to not have her immune system, her defenses in her body be fighting all the time. Maybe there's something going on here with your health where you're going to start having better health. Your body isn't going to be working as hard as it used to, okay? Maybe that's just one particular message for one particular person, but that certainly could be a possibility here, all right? But for the majority too, I'd also say that it's just really about having that emotional support system for you to help you through the endings and the new beginnings, to help you with also, when we talk about children and planting seeds for the future real quickly, right, with that Empress card, okay, about giving back to others and being hopeful and inspired to help others in the future and help. What is that, Michael Jackson? Or I don't even know it's Michael Jackson's song. It's like help the children of the future or something. I don't know, right? But it's like the kids, right, are a metaphor for the future. They are literally the future generations and what we're going to leave behind. So there's something kind of there too. But um, I'll leave it there. All right. Let me just put these back the way they were. So that is what I have for you as far as the tarot here, Aries. But real quickly before you go, because I know we're kind of getting over time, let's talk about your oracle cards. All right. So your first oracle card is your love oracle message for this time period. It can be about romantic love, platonic love with friends or family, self love, or all the above, right? So your love oracle message is keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. All right, so that is pretty self-explanatory for the romantic side. But I would say keep an open mind also with friends and family. Maybe your connection with friends and family deepens in some way that you didn't expect, right? Or let's say there's a family member or a friend of a friend that maybe you never got along with, that all of a sudden, if you keep an open mind, you would be surprised about it changing what you thought was going to happen. Maybe something different and actually better and lighter and more fun happens. All right. And then with self-love, yeah, keep an open mind. Your let's say your shadow side, right? Your darkness that we all have to work through, right? Is maybe not as bad as you think it is, or as scary as you think it is. So I would say that also the other thing when we talk about self love is like you are your own soulmate, right? So until you work on loving yourself, then you can't appreciate or fully enjoy the other soulmates in your life, your friends, family, and your romantic partners. All right. Okay, so let's get to your last oracle message here. And this is your Rumi or Remy, depending on how you pronounce it, oracle card. So Rumi was a 13th century Persian poet, and he's one of my favorites. So when I saw that Elena Fairchild had taken some of his poetry and put it with these really beautiful imagery and made them into a deck, I got excited and I had to get it. So anyway, Aries, your Rumi or Remy oracle message for this time period is card number 14, and it says, let love transform. And it looks like some mountains maybe here, and some sunlight, and it's just, it's very abstract, but it's really beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of the poem here. All right. It says, let love transform. The spring of love arrives to transform the dust into a garden. The call is heard from the heavens to bid the wings of the soul to fly. The sea becomes filled with pearls. The dry land receives the water of life. The stone becomes a ruby, and the body becomes all soul. Love is my medicine, intelligent medicine. It takes death and makes it a passageway into greater life. What genius is this? A genius that will render anything and everything as a pathway to life. I have found a bench upon which we may be seated. Nay, not a bench, a love seat. It is carved of precious ruby. It sits under the gentle shade of an ancient tree that thrives in love's garden. Come sit with me, beloved, as we let the whispers of the great beloved penetrate our hallowed ears, carried upon the sweet afternoon breeze. As the sun begins to set, the colors become vibrant. Even if we are deaf to beloved's tender whispers, we shall not be blind. We shall be captured by the vivid display of the beyonds, not beyond, of the beloved's artistry and be transported into peace. Wow, that's beautiful. All right, so I'm not going to read all of this here, but I will talk about real quickly the little ritual or meditation that you can say to yourself to get into this energy. So it says, open your arms to the heavens and imagine sacred bounty pouring down more than you can hold. This is love's gift of plenty to you. Imagine whatever it is you want: love, abundance, peace, passion, healing, purpose. Let it all descend into your body and soul just like that. When you are ready, place your hands on your heart and say, I am love's own. I am seated with my brother Rumi, who loves me unconditionally, upon the love seat in the sacred garden of the divine creator. I am blessed to fulfill my destiny, to become divinely awakened and embodied, to receive all of life with the wings of angels at my back, so I may rise with the sacred animal feet, to dance with sacred delight upon this earth. That's really cool. I like that last part. It says, may I arise with my sacred animal feet to dance with the sacred delight upon this earth. That's beautiful. And then it says, place your hands in prayer and bow your head. You have finished your sacred honoring ritual meditation. So that's beautiful. All right, I like that. So that is your reading here, dear Aries. I hope that you found something from this, and always feel free to let me know in the comments down below, but you don't have to, of course. But again, thank you guys so much for everything, for your views, for your time. And if you do like the video, not only does it let me know that you liked it, but it tells YouTube's algorithm to share it with others. So I appreciate that if that's something you want to do, but you don't have to. And what else? Yes, if you want to subscribe and you haven't yet, it is also free. So all you have to do is click in the description box below there and follow. No, not follow the instructions. Wow. Okay. That was like my speech for the photo, but maybe that's what Spirit wanted me to talk about. So, first of all, go back in the right order, Melissa. If you want to subscribe and you haven't yet, click on the bell icon on the bottom right and make sure it's blue and it's active, and it'll just notify you when I put out new readings. Okay. That's one. Number two, if you want to see one photo of all the cards here, I will be posting it shortly. So if you want to do that, that's when you would click in the description box below and follow the instructions on how to see my photo. So on that note, I'm going to take a break and probably come back with Taurus probably tomorrow at this point. But you guys take care, and I really appreciate it. And again, enjoy this time period, enjoy your birthday season, and I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.